This one's fine.
Yeah, that one must already have its pull-ups. Take it.
Well,
Oh, I know. The tripod thing, I did actually have one of those at home, and it's...
okay, that sounds good.
Yeah.
Then you're all good to go.
Well, okay then. We will attempt. Thank you. All right, good morning. We're back. Yay. This is core class, but we're also going to be working the stabilizers in the shoulder joints and in the hips. So like we used to do when we came to the gym to do classes, it's going to incorporate everything. So we'll start with a little warm-up. We're just going to tuck the chin and bring the arms forward, round at the back, and then back, and pull, and exhale forward, and inhale. Really starting to get the shoulder blades to loosen up back there, and back, and forward, and back. And one more. Then we're going to go up. Inhale, and exhale. Now as you keep going with this, you're going to start reaching out through the fingertips. Get those muscle fibers to lengthen. Getting the spine to lengthen. One more. Let's bring it up there and rope climb. So it's a reach, reach. Now we're starting to draw the navel back already. That engages the core muscles. Up, up. 4, 3. Let's come out in front, reach. So you're feeling those shoulder blades starting to really move back then. 4, 3, and reach around. So you're pivoting on that toe, let the heel come up. All right, no arms, just a little tap. Yeah, as we lean, that shoulder comes up. Up, up, your arms are straight. Let's come to a stop. All right, so feet are wide. Let's do some little squat pulses. So the shoulders are back, belly button pulled in. Warming up those legs. Now, step hip width apart. So you're narrow now. Same thing. 4, 3. We're going to tap behind. Tap, tap. So we're still low. And then tap it side this side. We're going to lift. So you're in a low stance, that warms up those leg muscles. Heel taps out front. Let's push. So we're spending a little bit of time warming up the muscles and the joints. Get the heart rate up a little bit. All right. Now just march it out a little. We'll be starting with our set of dumbbells. So I want something really light, maybe 2 pound, 3 pound at the most, because we'll be doing compound movements, incorporating core exercises, shoulder and hip. So we'll be starting in another little narrow squat. So legs are hip width apart. Shoulders, let's roll them up and back and down. That's how we're going to stay. Chin stays level. Let's do some pulses now. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3. Now, your right leg, step straight back. We're going to bend the knee a little. We're in a lunge. Now the upper body comes up and back. Now step in. And 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2. Your left leg back. Come up a little, shoulders back. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Back to the narrow squat. 4, 3, 2. Right leg back. Front, squat, 2, 3, step back left, 2, so you're dropping the back knee. Squat, 4, 3, 2, right leg, 1, 2, 3, 4, squat, last one. Woo! Got started on a pretty intense rate. And back to center. Okay, let's do a little balancing. We're stepping forward with our right leg. Weights are in our hands. Shoulders stay back. Now let's come on to our front leg. So you can bend it a little bit. Body weight on that front leg. Now you're going to lift the back leg and lift the arms. Whoa. It's hard to balance. Now, if you need to, put that back foot down on the floor. I'm going to show you from the side. Okay, we're lifted a little if you can. So you're using those core muscles around the middle of the body to keep you stable. And keep that back foot on the floor. One more. We're using the back of those arms as well. Come on back up. Shake it out a little. Back to that narrow stance. I'm going to go ahead and do 8 pulses. It's easier to follow along. Shoulders back. So just like we did a bit ago, we're going to do some pulses. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Now stay down and step back. Kind of come up a little. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Squat. 2, 3, 4. I'm going to show you from the side. Left leg steps back. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Step in. 1, 2, 5, 6, 7, 8. Little pulses. And in. Last one. Woo! I've lost my counting here. Okay, back. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. In. Now remember which leg you were balancing on before. Let's switch it. Now we never want to let our upper back round or the shoulders come forward. Okay, let's come onto that front leg. And stretch that other one back there. Try to lift a little if you can. And if you're able, bring those rear deltoid, rear flies into it. Keep that back toe down, remember. Gives you a lot more stability. So we're training the body in balance. Your stabilizers in that standing leg are working. Your core muscles around the torso. The back of the leg that's lifted. And the shoulders. One more. Woo. Shake it out. Okay, that was a little intense way to start it off. But we're definitely warm now. Now let's stretch the back of the legs a little bit. We're going to widen out. We're just going to come down, arms on the thighs. Chin stays up. And go ahead and straighten and bend. Straighten. Bend. So you feel that stretch in the hamstrings. And one more, let's hold it. And then back down. Let's push through those heels and up. Okay. We're going to do some swimmers. So, I'll show you from the front first. We're in a narrow stance again because we will be squatting and holding. Squats are very much a core exercise, so we keep doing them. You're going to start with your arms, palms facing down. Arms stay pretty straight. Now, don't block the elbows, but keep them straight. We'll be sitting, so our back is at an angle. And let's see, we're going to have to widen out a little so that we can clear our hip. One arm will come back as the other one comes up beside the ear. We're just alternating. So I'll show you from the side. One arm tries to travel back behind your body. The other one, you're trying to raise it and pull it back. Now your navel's pulled back toward the side. So we're working not only the core, but your legs, your shoulders, your back, your chest. 4, 3, 2, and one more. Woo. Up. Now we want to keep a narrow stance because the closer our feet are, the smaller our base of stability is. Okay, out in front of the shoulders. Now don't lock the knees. Loose. We're going to bend the elbows. Set those hands together. Now last thing, hold the elbows. We're going to go up and straight down. So I'll show you from the side. We're not straightening those arms. Keeping them bent. We're pushing straight up. And then pulling the elbows down. So it's mainly shoulders, back, chest, and arms. With your core controlling it all. Only do what you can. 4, 3, 2, and down. Ooh. Loosen them up. And pouring water. So we're going to be holding pitchers of water, palms facing forward, thumbs up. We raise up to shoulder height and then pour the water out of the pitchers. Back up and down. Up, down, up, and down. Now when you lift, don't let the arms come higher than the shoulders. And when you lift your arms, don't let those shoulders tighten up. Don't let them come up toward the ears. Now if you want a little bigger movement, you can bring them behind to start. Nice and controlled. So your core is in charge of powering the movement. And with that rotation of the arm, you're working in those stabilizers in the shoulders, the rotator cuff. Only do what you can. Those arms really fatigue quickly. And come on down. All right. We're going to do that little set one more time. So we did our swimmers, and then we did the elbow, bent elbow push, and pour in the water. So, let's have a seat. Shoulders back, one arm is up, one arm is down, and switch. This works so much of the upper body in that movement. Really try to pull back at the top and at the bottom. That gets those shoulder blade muscles to contract. Do what you can. Woo. All right, in 4, 3, 2, last one. Okay, we're out in front. Now, since we changed that center of gravity out there, it wants to pull us forward. That's where that core has to really stay tight. Bend. Let's put everything together. And up and down. This is a great one for strengthening all the whole shoulder complex. The main muscles, the deltoids, and the finer stabilizers. Only do what you can though. Okay. Let's count 4, 3, keep those elbows pulled close. Last one. Woo. And the last one of our standing things for a bit. So palms forward, elbows unlocked. We're going up, forward out, and back down. So it really takes a lot of concentrating and training to keep those shoulders from rising up when we lift our arms. We have a tendency to really want to tighten right there, but just keep them down. You're using that joint, you're pivoting in the joint. One more. The second set is more fatiguing. Alright, let's hang them front, tuck the chin, let that weight pull you down just a tiny bit. Stretching the upper back, the shoulders. Alright, back up. So we're going to be coming down to a sitting position on the floor. So remember, you got many, many ways to do that. You can set your weights down and just kind of walk out and then have a seat. You can go into a deep squat, put your hand down and have a seat. You can go into a bit of a lunge, put that knee down and have a seat. So you'll want to grab your mat on this floor. Now first we're sitting. So we've done these before. We call them a little kayak paddle. You can do these without weights, or you can kind of hold your weights together so that they're just one unit. We're going to sit and we're on our heels, so bend the knees. Now we want to keep our back straight. So that's the main objective, is to straighten the spine. So if you feel like you're kind of rounding, then maybe take a break, take a rest, and then you can get back to it. All right. Let's bring the arms out a little bit from the body. We're going to lean just a little. Back stays straight, so don't go very far out there. And then we're going to just dip that paddle in the water, side to side. Dipping and then up and around. So your feet probably are a little wide. That gives you the most stability. Your heels are planted. Kind of pushing through those heels. Only do what you can. Woo. And one more set. And then just kind of tuck the chin and round the back. Let the low back rest. Okay. We are going to do a Pilates roll-up, but normally a roll-up would be coming just without a weight. But we're going to use one weight this time. And I'll show you some. We're going to start pretty easy, and then you can make it a little harder. So one leg is straight. One leg is bent. Let's come down to a laying position. So one foot is on the floor, the other leg is bent. Okay. Now the same one leg that's straight, that arm is the one with the weight. Now you can do this without the weight, of course. Arm up. Now first and foremost, we're going to anchor the low back into the floor. So draw the navel down so that the low back comes down to touch the floor. And you're going to keep it that way. Now arm goes backward toward the floor. This is our start position. Okay, and arm back up. Right about here, we lift the head and shoulders. You can use the floor or that knee to get up. And then we're pushing it toward the ceiling and pulling back. So that's how it's a little different than a regular roll-up. Okay, now arm comes down, rounding the back. Roll down one vertebra at a time. And arm comes down to the floor. Okay, so that's one repetition. So you just roll up, pull back, roll down, and end up with the arms straight. So just keep doing those. Think about trying to move your spine one vertebra at a time. Up and pull back at the top. Couple more here. So by having one knee bent, that does make it more manageable. And let's come on back down, end up back on the floor. Okay. Now you can set your weight down for a bit. We'll be doing a bridge motion. So just a regular bridge, but we will stay up in that bridge and perhaps lift one leg and straighten it. So we're going to add on to the regular bridge. Now start with your feet on the floor, your knees are bent. You're going to pull the navel into the floor. Now by pulling down with the navel, we lift the tailbone then and roll up into a bridge. Let's go ahead and roll back down, one vertebra at a time. Get the feel for that. And pull in and roll up. And then control it back down. And up. And down. keep our leg muscles out of the movement. Now go ahead and come up and hold that bridge. You can readjust those heels so they're right under the knees, stabilizing the knees. You're squeezing gently in the glutes and the hamstrings now to keep the hips up. Arms are on the floor to help you balance. Now, legs are pretty narrow because we're going to try to lift one leg and just hold. Now, if that's no problem for you, point the toe, lock the knee, and try to do a little circle there with that leg, like you're drawing circles on the ceiling. Now, you may not want to lift the one foot up off the ground at all. Just stay in a bridge. Other way with the circle, if you're circling, you're pushing into the heel that's on the floor. And then bring that leg back down. And let's roll down from the bridge. Rest a moment. And then we're going to roll back up. So pulling the navel down, rolling back up. Now if you want to just hold that, please do. Squeeze the glutes, lift the hips. Step 2 is to lift a leg, maybe straighten it and hold. Step 3 would be circling that leg. So those are different levels of intensity that you can add on. Try not to wiggle. Other direction. Just a little circle, not very big. We don't want to cause too much instability. And then leg comes back down. And roll back down from that bridge. All right. So a bridge is one of the basic therapeutic exercises that a physical therapist might give you to strengthen your core and your back. Okay, we're still in this upward facing position. We're going to do a dead bug. So, legs come up in a chair position, so they're perpendicular to the floor, those legs. Arms are straight up from the shoulders. Now, think opposites here. We're going to lock the right arm in place and lock the left leg in place. So opposites. Those two, the arm and the leg, right and the left, do not move. Now the other arm and leg are going to go out away from the body and then come back in. Okay, now you're changing. So you've got opposite arm and leg, moving out away from your center, down toward the floor. So essentially, the leg is doing an alternating toe dip, and the arm is doing a one-arm pullover. Now this whole time, you're focusing on keeping that navel pulled into the floor, and those stationary arms and legs, you're just holding in place. Now you by no means have to touch the floor with that toe. Just a little movement forward is enough to activate those core muscles. And last one. Woo. Okay, go ahead and pull the knees toward the chest to stretch the low back. Now some of these exercises are going to be difficult. Some are going to be easy. It just depends on our body and our ability levels. Okay, we're going to finish our upward facing position here by doing a crunch circle. So we're all familiar with a crunch where we float up one vertebra at a time and float down. But instead of up and down, we're going to take that upper body and do a circling motion. So support your head with your hands. Elbows are out to the sides. Now, keeping the back anchored into the floor, we're going to float float up one vertebra at a time in a crunch. Okay, instead of floating right back down, let's come around in a circle. Down and up. So it's like your head is doing a circle. Now we're not pulling with the hands. We're using those abdominals. You're circling, you're coming up and going down, but in a circle. Let's go the other direction. Up and around. Now as you come up, you're exhaling. Coming back down, you're inhaling, so keep breathing. Up and around. Woo. And one more. All right, let's come on back down to the floor. Let's take those arms and just reach them straight. And like you're reaching for something at that wall behind you. Trying to straighten the arms. It's a nice stretch for the core and the back. Now bring the arms back in and let's turn to our side. So we'll finish with some sideline motion exercises. Okay, we've done these many times in the past. We just come down to as comfortable of a position as we can get on the concrete. Just support your head or lay it down. Now we're going to take that upper leg. We're going to lock the knee and push out through the toe. And we're going to keep the top of the foot facing front. So don't turn out, just face it front. All right, we're going to draw the navel back because the core is what's going to hold us steady as we just do an arc. So you're tapping in front and probably pretending to tap in back. So we're not letting the body turn or roll backward. We're holding it in place. Now this is using all the different areas of the core, especially the side. You're pushing out through the toe, really lengthening that leg, so you've got all the leg muscles working, but especially the ones around your hips. All those stabilizers. We worked a lot on the shoulder stabilizers, now we're working on the hip ones. And by going behind the body, you're also getting a good stretch in that hip flexor. So make it small at first maybe, and then work it to a bigger arc. Of course, only do what you can. Woo! Starting to burn a little in the hip. You're using a lot of the glute muscles as well. And last one. While we're on this side, let's go ahead and stretch the front of the leg and in the hip flexor. Let's bend at the knee and catch the heel behind. And then just kind of gently give it a little pull. It's that part of the body that gets real tight when we sit a lot. And so we want to keep it stretched well so it doesn't pull on our spine and our pelvis, cause back trouble. All right, release. We're going to turn to our tummy. So we're facing down. We will be doing a Superman. So this is really a good one to work that low back. That's definitely part of the core. Okay, we're going to be reaching out. So this is another typical therapeutic exercise that physical therapists would give you to strengthen your shoulders, your hips, and your low back and core. All right, look at the floor. Tuck the chin. This is opposites again. You're going to lift one arm and then the opposite leg. Reach away from your center, out through the fingertips and toes, and then down. Now switch. Opposite, arm and leg. Now right now, just keep your chest on the floor and reach out long. Stretch out from your center. Really uses your low back here. All right, now if that is getting a little too easy for you, start lifting the chest up off the floor as well. Up and out. Lift and lower. And 4, 3, 2, and last one here. All right, we'll give that low back a little rest. Now you can just turn over to the other side. I'm going to flip around so I'm facing you. And we're going to do that leg arc. Again, the touch front and back. So, activating the core. You're drawing the navel back. Use that top arm to help you with balance. Locking, pointing, lifting, and touch. Now in the back, you probably are not touching. Don't force it. You're just doing a semicircle. Up and around. Keeping the toes facing forward. It's a very complex movement. Gets a lot of muscle groups. Think about straightening that leg, really reach out through the toes. Woo. You can feel it up in your side. And one more. A lot of fatigue in that hip. Woo. Okay, while we're here, let's stretch the front. Even though we weren't working the front of the leg on this particular exercise, bend at the knee, catch the heel behind. Try to keep the knees close together. Don't let them come up. But since we're laying on our side, we want to take the opportunity to stretch this muscle group. Now for the last exercise, we're going to be facing down again. We're going to do a lat pull down, a prone lat pull down. So we actually need both weights. So grab both weights, we're going to face down. So this will be working our back, our shoulders, our core, our low back, our glutes. Okay, so if you think about being in the weight room and you're pulling that bar down, we're going to be doing that motion, but facing down. So arms start out in front. Now you can always do this without the weights if it just becomes too much for you. All right, look at the floor, tuck the chin, and lift one arm. And then lift the other, and just bend at the elbow, pulling like you're pulling a bar down to the chest. Elbows travel out to the side. So your arms are lifted the whole time, but only a couple inches off the floor at most. Traveling out to the side and down. 4, 3, 2, and last one. Set the weights down. Just stretch those arms out in front. Really try to pull out from your center and stretch your arms out and stretch your legs out. You can lay your forehead down. There's a nice full body stretch. arms back in. We're going to set them right beside the rib cage, elbows in close. And we'll stretch the front of the body. So just leave your hips on the floor. But we're going to push up away from the floor. Keep the elbows in close. Kind of like you're doing an upward facing dog in yoga. We're stretching down the front of the abdominals, down all the way. Where it kind of connects in with the pelvic bone. Pubic bone. All right, come on back down. Now, from here, we're going to come up into a hands and knees position. So, pushing again, lift, but this time come up onto the knees, and then bring the knees in under the hips. So you're nice and centered. Arms straight under those shoulders. All right, let's reach the arm out to the side. Turn the head to look at that hand. Keep your eye on the hand, and then lift the hand. So that makes the rib cage rotate. And then come on back down. You're going to reach under, reach through, reach across. That gets those shoulder blades to stretch. And then back to center. Let's go to the other side. So arm goes out to the side. Turn to look at it. Lock your eyes on that hand and then lift toward the ceiling. Now come back down and reach under, reach across. And then back to center in your hands and knees position again. Let's drop the navel toward the floor, lift the tailbone. If your neck is pretty healthy, you can lift the chin a little bit, but don't look up too high. We don't want to strain the neck. And then come back to a flat back. Let's pull the navel toward the spine and tuck the tailbone under, and then tuck the chin. It's as if you're pushing the shoulder blades to the ceiling. And then come back to neutral. Hands a little further out. We're going to tuck the toes under, lift the knees and the hips, and kind of drop that head between the arms like you would in a downward facing dog. And then lift the head. Let's walk those hands in. Now try to keep the legs as straight as you can. We're going to hang here for a moment to try to stretch the back of the legs. And then bend the knees, tuck the chin, and roll slowly up. And we reach the top. Let's go ahead and inhale and get as tall as we can. Keep the arms as close to the ears as they will go. Come down, let the shoulder blades come down your back. Let's rotate around. Your legs are pretty narrow here. Other side. Feel that stretch around the spine, torso. And back to center. All right, pull back one more time here. And then come around and fold those arms. Tuck the chin, push out, look down. And then straightening. Let's try to get those folded arms to the top of the head. So you're pulling back, but you're also pushing up toward the ceiling. It's a good activation of those posture muscles. Reach. And one more thing. Push toward the floor. Let's tilt the head off center. Stretching in that side of the neck and the shoulder. Other other side. Back to center, one big roll forward. And then one big roll up and back and down. You're perfect. Thank you so much for coming today. Spread the word.